What is up, guys? Welcome to another Amazon FBA Happy Hour. Today we have Avery, aka Romer the Romer, rocking a Seller Amp shirt. I do wonder if that was planned because Seller Amp is the first
I just love this shirt, man.
Friday.
Good things happen to me when I wear it.
Yeah, no, I love that shirt too. What's up, man?
Not much. Just out here with the book flipper.
Nice.
He's retired now. We're about to go camping, so I'm chilling in his Tesla.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, just out here doing some. We're really just shooting podcasts, chilling, smoking cigars, stuff like that.
That's awesome. You look like you got a fresh haircut over there.
Yeah, this is from Cuba. I just told him to cut all my hair off. So this is actually like 3 or 4 weeks old.
Jeez, that's hilarious. So, for everyone who doesn't know, do you want to give a little brief introduction about yourself?
Yep. I guess my claim to fame is I lived in my car for 3 months in 2018. I was sourcing books on the road. Then I met a bunch of people, Reezy Resells, Caleb Roth, got pretty close with Caleb, stayed in touch with Reezy. I found out not everyone on YouTube was a scam. Then I built my book business to 80,000 in sales, and I really built it by offering a consignment service, restrictedinventory.com. People would send me their books, and that just exploded my business. That's over like a 2-year period. So me living in my car, finding out that, I can make money thrifting at thrift stores, finding books, flipping them on Amazon FBA, getting connected with the community. Shout out to Steve Rakin. He helped me blow up my social media. I went on his YouTube channel. That helped out a lot. Then everyone found out that I could sell textbooks, but they couldn't. So everyone started sending me their textbooks. Sales blew up. And I ran that for until today. I still have that business. And I dabbled in online arbitrage last year, started my business, did about 300K in sales, 8% margin, 15% with cash back. And this year I'm cranking away at wholesale, actually, surprisingly, at like a fucking ridiculous margin, like 40, 50%, like actual margin. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. And that's kind of like my 5-year history, I guess.
Sweet. Yeah. So, are you not doing online arbitrage anymore then?
I'm doing a little bit. Not right now. I'm like not buying anything, but like I learned so much last year and I'm ready for Q4. I'm going to be doing a lot of back to school stuff, but I kind of kicked myself for last Q4 not being prepared. And this year, I think I'm going to just make sure I have so much capital ready to go on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just blow like a ridiculous amount. Because with wholesale, the lead time's like 4 to 5 weeks, right? With online arbitrage, the lead time's like 2 to 5 days. And so you can get ridiculous deals. You can get like 20, 30% cash back on Black Friday. And then you can have your items active, merchant fulfilled the next week. So I'm really ready for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize you were doing wholesale. I know you were talking about it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I've been talking about it for a minute. I've tried it 3 times, and I failed the first 2. So, third time's a charm.
So, what do you think clicked this time around?
I just found a good supplier. That was it. Yeah.
You want to share who it is?
I'll drop it in the chat. I was actually wearing a Seller Amp shirt in Puerto Rico, and somebody recognized me wearing this shirt, and they're like, "Hey, are you a online arbitrage seller, wholesale, or whatever?" They knew everyone in this. They didn't know anyone in the space except for Miles. So I was like,
Really?
Reezy, Steve. Like I was just naming people, and I was like, Flips for Miles. He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, like that's a first that somebody didn't know Reezy, but they knew Miles. And turns out this guy does like 11 million a year on Amazon, and he connected me with a supplier. Actually, I didn't end up. I placed an order with them, but we ended up canceling it. But I have another supplier that's super legit for this product, and yeah, we have a couple suppliers now. So really just networking got me my suppliers. Like I did all the things you're supposed to do. I used Smart Scout, looked for reached out to distributors. I probably called like 20 wholesalers last summer living in Colombia. But really what clicked was I just had a friend and we share a supplier now. Networking,
That's awesome. Yeah. And I feel like with wholesale too, it's like there's so much like opportunity. You can only buy so much. With OA, it could be saturated and there could be some issues there.
It depends on like what corner of the market you're in. Because like if you're doing online arbitrage Nike, there's a lot of saturation there, but there's like other weird categories you can get into that not many people know about, same with wholesale.
Yeah, no, agreed with that. You want to talk about go-to lister?
Yes, sir. That's been my baby for the last couple of years. So go-to lister is a listing software. We're trying to take out Inventory Lab, AccelerList, ScanLister, all those shitty softwares that are out there. I'm just kidding. But no, a couple of years ago, I was really upset how long it took me to list books with all those softwares I mentioned. And so I was like, I actually developed this weird way of listing books. We were doing like library shutdowns. So we would drive to libraries that were closed down and we would scan like 1,000 books. We would have 1,000 green books, like good books to list on Amazon, which would take us an eternity to list. So what I would do is scan all the books into my notes app on my phone, send them to my overseas virtual assistant. He would copy and paste them all into AccelerList. And I called that the 10x listing method. And it allowed me to list like 1,000 books in a couple hours, not less. So with go-to lister, like the first thing we did was we made it so you could scan a book. You could scan as many books as you want, and it'll just queue them up, even if you don't have Wi-Fi or good connection, which a lot of times we didn't. And then it'll process them one by one. So that's the first thing we did. And then we did smart pricing, which helps you make more money on products that have 0 FBA offers. So if a product doesn't have FBA offers, we actually price it 20% higher for you, whereas other listing softwares don't allow you to do that. The big thing is we let you know when there's no FBA offers, so you can go in and make an intelligent decision yourself. And then we're coming up with profit analytics now. I would like to think that they're sexier than Seller Board and Inventory Lab. We are at the beginning stages. We don't have like a million reports like Inventory Lab has, but we do have the important ones, and we're listening to our users. So super excited for the online arbitrage community to see what we have in store for them. We got a Seller Amp integration coming out soon. So you'll be able to export your items from Seller Amp to go-to lister, your buy list, and then you might even be able to list from the app if that's something you guys would want. So I know my retail arbitrage guys out there, you guys would probably like to scan an item and list it like immediately. So that'll be a possibility with Seller Amp and go-to lister coming up. So I worked on that for 1 year in 2020 to 2021 with Indians, and it was just like a terrible version of the app. And so I actually just scratched it. I wasted like probably 50 grand doing that. And then I partnered with an Amazon seller. Our developer, Dom, sells wholesale and online arbitrage. And so he understands Amazon like front to back. And so he's coding all this as an Amazon seller who like understands the ins and outs of selling on Amazon. So I've been trying to get him to come to Miami Sellers Conference. He like lives in Miami, but he's so introverted, he like never comes out. And so I'm like, dude, like we got a yacht. You can come on, you can meet the Seller Amp team. And he's just like, next year I'll come. Like my wife doesn't want me to. And I'm like, dude. So
that's fun. Yeah. Is that the person you keep tagging?
Yeah, I tag him. He's Amazon and chill. You guys
Yeah,
can try
like,
and steal him from me, but he won't budge.
Yeah, every time I see like Amazon, I was like, that like a hashtag or something. And then finally I clicked it. I was like, oh, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
I just followed him.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're kind of like opposite personalities. So it's a good partnership.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to give go-to lister a try, I didn't plan this, but you guys can use Side Hustle Experiment or FBA Michaela, and we'll give you half off your first month. Message us at support@gotolister.com. We'll give you half off your first month. We're cheaper than Inventory Lab. We're going to be way better. We're faster already, and we have pretty sexy profit analytics. So
cool. Yeah, no, that's exciting. What else is going
on? What else? I know this isn't like about books, but Scout IQ is integrating with restricted inventory this week. Should be live today or tomorrow. So you can scan a book on Scout IQ, and if you're restricted, you can send it directly to restrictedinventory.com within the app. So
that's cool. So if someone were beginning today, I mean, you've done books, you've done wholesale, you've done OA. What would you suggest someone do?
Private label.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, like, what?
Low key, for real. Like, I wish I would have maybe considered that. But I mean, if you're broke books, for sure, you can turn $1,000 into 4,000 pretty quickly. I mean, but if you guys are watching this channel, you're obviously interested in online arbitrage, so scratch that itch. I don't know what I would do if I had to. Do I know what I know now, or
Yeah,
do I
you know
advice?
now, like what you've been through and everything.
Yeah, and I don't have any of my current businesses.
Yeah.
I'd probably do. It depends how much money I had. I'd probably do a combination of OA and books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then thing about wholesale is like baseball. Like you can strike out over and over and over again, but like you can hit a home run, and it's really awesome. And with online arbitrage, you can find a home run product, but it's kind of hard to know whether or not you should pull the trigger if it's your first time buying that product. If it's your second or third time around, you know, okay, here's that opportunity again. I'm going to go crazy on this. But with wholesale, you find a really good product and likely there's not as much competition and you can kind of place a smaller order and you don't have to worry about a bunch of other people hopping on the listing, or you don't have to worry about the coupon code going away or it going out of stock. So with wholesale, it's like a little bit more like once you find a good deal, you got it for a while. Whereas with OA, it's like you got to act fast, you know? So,
Yeah, I almost feel if I were to start over again, I would definitely probably do OA, knowing what I know now. Even though
yeah.
like thrifting books was fun and all that kind of stuff, and like obviously it met like a ton of people. I don't know, it just seems more scalable. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd still have my job, but like I could envision like doing all my work in like 2 days or like doing it over the weekend and just force that work for like
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely jealous of the kids these days. Like, I'll meet a kid at Miami Sellers Conference and I'll talk to him and he'll be like, yeah, I just started last year, blah, blah, blah. You know, I've been following Miles, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what are your sales at? He's like, 250,000 a month. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I was going to book selling conferences and like a year in, I thought I was like a celebrity, you know, Romer the Romer, like my brand blowing up and stuff. And I was like 20K a month, 30K a month, you know? And like these kids are just able to blow up so fast.
yeah.
And there's so much networking opportunities on Instagram, personal brand opportunities with online arbitrage that you can do in a way that you can't necessarily do with books. Like if I'm a bookseller and you're a bookseller, we can't really help each other out that much. But with OA, like I can share a fire lead with you and you can share one with me, and all of a sudden, like we're both making like 5-10K extra per month.
Yeah, that is definitely yeah, it definitely has its like advantages and disadvantages. I mean, book pictures are definitely cool. You have like a full cart or something like that. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little different.
It
Um,
comes.
how would you start, Michaela?
People always ask me this since I've transitioned into wholesale, and the honest answer is I wouldn't change anything the way that I did it. Even with $10,000, I still would have started with OA and then did the same exact. It's not because like I don't like wholesale. It's just because when you're first starting out, wholesale is like extra risky in my opinion, because things are at a multiplier. So if you go to say Macy's and if you want to buy one pair of tennis shoes, you can buy one pair of tennis shoes. But if you go to do wholesale, you can't just buy one. You have to buy 100. You have to buy 250.
Yeah. Yeah.
$5,000 worth. It's not, so it's at a multiplier, which makes it risky in my opinion. But do people take their money and start with wholesale and do really well? Yeah. But then I've seen people personally that did that and then they lose a bunch of their money and then they come back to me and are like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, you should have started with OA. Start with OA.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have had the confidence to buy as much wholesale product as I have if I didn't do online arbitrage last year, because I understand variation listings, I understand Keepa graphs, I understand like all this nuance that actually I thought I knew as a bookseller. I thought I was like, when I first started OA, I'm like, I'm gonna make a Keepa masterclass. And then like 2 weeks in, I'm like, holy shit, I don't know anything about Keepa. Like I took Chris Grant's Keepa quiz and I failed that shit. And I'm like, damn, like I got a lot to learn. So, but knowing that and like being able to look at the offers tab, see how many people have sold out, all of those little things just gave me so much more confidence to buy a lot of wholesale product.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like going from bookseller to OA, it's like, yeah, I know how to read Keepa. It's like you're just looking for like a drop or two to make sure like the textbook sells, and like,
Yeah,
and then
dude,
now
I'm
you
out
go
here with
OA,
Caleb,
and it's like,
and Caleb's like the data nerd. Like he knows everything about everything, and like I was showing him stuff on Keepa that he didn't know that I've learned from OA. Like he didn't know about the offers tab and like little things like that because you really don't have to look at that stuff if you're buying a couple textbooks to flip.
100%. What do we got here? Is it best to send to one FCC and wait for the transfers to send to all FC Amazon wants you to? Are there additional costs incurred for FC transfers?
I think there isn't there? Like if you basically have it to where, what is it called? It has a term.
It's inventory placement?
Yes.
Yeah. You could definitely pay for that if you want to. Usually, from my experience, if you're sending, I don't know, like 100+ units in, it usually tends to go to one fulfillment center. I did actually a shipment of like returns, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. It's like 50 items. I went to like 3 different places. It was super annoying. And like I kept refreshing and refreshing. And I was like, it's screwed. I'll just send the 3 boxes. But yeah, I forgot what inventory placement is. It's, I don't know, like 50 cents a unit, maybe. Do you know?
Something like that. I've never used it because I don't pay.
It's 30 cents, but I wouldn't be surprised if they raised it.
Yeah.
No, I don't give Amazon any extra money. They already take a chunk of our money. Yep. They don't need any.
Yeah, definitely not. Do you have any ambition to do like a private label?
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, I think, but right now, I just love the community aspect of online arbitrage and wholesale, whereas private label, I don't really know the community. There probably is one, but I just like how like we all can like help each other so much with this, and it's such a quick way to turn your capital. It's a really good way to help beginners. I got GoToLister, and I got to help the beginners make money. I got to help people that are making 10K get up to 100K. And so being able to, share ideas, introduce them to like people who are crushing it in the game, like it's just like a giant game that's really fun right now. For me, just to all of a sudden step out and do private label, it takes me out of like this,
Yeah, no, that's really, I would say, what community do you think is better, the book community or the OA community?
There's different ways. Like the book community are bootstrappers. Yeah. Those are my people, like I'm like really gritty. Like I lived in my car. Like I'm still not afraid. Like if shit hits a fan, to do it again. These are people, who are starting their businesses from nothing. Whereas online arbitrage, they're usually kids that have parents with money, or people who just have a lot saved up. Like it's a completely different crowd. I love the ambition of the online arbitrage community. They have big dreams. They all believe they can fully do like 500K a month. Booksellers, not necessarily. They're thinking, I'm happy making an extra 30K a year, like profit, So it's different mentalities. I definitely identify more with like the ambition that online arbitrage sellers tend to have, but I do like the humbleness of booksellers and like just like the, put your boots on and get your hands dirty, touch dusty books all day. Like I like that aspect of it. But to answer your question, like I enjoy spending time with both crowds. I would say Miami Sellers Conference is like more online arbitrage than book now. And those people are just so much fun to spend time with. So I can't pick one, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, I feel like there's a lot of crossover too. People who started with books that went to like online arbitrage.
Yeah,
so it's a big mix of people, and I think, I don't know, maybe more booksellers will just eventually do online arbitrage. Who knows?
Yeah, I think booksellers who like are really making profit and they want to scale would do online arbitrage or wholesale. It fits pretty perfectly with the with the models. Books aren't that different from other products.
Yeah, I think that was the frustrating part with books. I mean, I didn't get as big as like, David Chung or anything like that, but like the idea of like doing another truckload or two, it's like you need to increase staff, you might need more space. Like for OA, like you just put more stuff in your cart or
Yeah.
get capital, and it's like you could double or triple in like a month.
Yeah, and you can just run it up with a prep center too.
Yeah, that's another good point. Do you guys trust leads lists even if you don't act right away and wait for all the sellers to fall off? I don't really use any leads lists. I mean, I did when I first started. Definitely wasn't experienced, so definitely bought the stuff that was on the list and it all tanked. I think it could be a good way to figure out like new brands or figure out like a sale going on. And then, yeah, I guess you could look back at the listing because usually people are lazy and they won't look back. So I think it's kind of like probably safe in that aspect. Like the chances of like me and Michaela going back to look at the list the same exact day is probably pretty rare. But I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah. You want to get as far away from everyone else's products as possible. Like the moment you start sourcing products that not the whole community sourcing, then you're going to see profits that not everyone else has. Sure, there's like back to school opportunities, Q4 opportunities, like these one-off like Colin Broom, whatever, that if you get in early enough, you can make some good money and it's fun. But you don't want to get distracted by that stuff.
Yeah. I think they're good for beginners only in the sense not using them the way that people traditionally think about doing it. But like he said, like sales, coupons, other stores that you may not have thought of, other brands that you've never thought of, kind of like as a rabbit hole to go down other avenues. And then going back in time and like waiting and seeing kind of like, and it's a good way to kind of see how Keepa really works, like how I guess like new seller count rises and then obviously the price goes down, and kind of seeing that relationship as well. If you go back in like 3 months and say, oh, okay, like this is what happened. I know not to buy something like this because of XYZ, and then see if it actually rebounds, because a lot of the time people forget. They get like they have like a bad experience, and I do the same thing, and I just like throw it away. Like that's it, I'm done selling it. And then in 3-6 months you see it and it's rebounded, maybe not to its fullest potential that it was, but maybe it's still profitable and you just haven't thought about it.
Yeah, I've definitely done that a lot where I go back to leads and then I'll buy like 3 or 4 times the amount because I know that there's going to be a runway before other people catch back onto this. What do you think is one of the best way to kind of like identify or find these like trendy things? Like you mentioned like the Colin Broom. I mean, I guess like the Lululemon bags, like that's kind of dead at this point.
The best way for sure is just to be in the community, networking, be active in the Discords, have like a few friends that you talk to. You don't need that many friends, to like, because they're all connected too, hopefully. So even if you just have like 2 or 3 people you talk to, you'll find out.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Yep, it's important.
Would you buy BSRs that are in the 2 to 3% range? For me, I've been testing it lately, and they actually sell really quick. They don't really sell as slow as they're predicted. I've been buying like a lot of Keepa charts that just look like absolute garbage because a lot of people would just pass them over. Someone I talk to all the time was just like, dude, I've been testing all this stuff. Like, just do a test buy. Like, I'm telling you, like, what you see on Keepa is not like 100%. And I've just been kind of doing that, and it's been a super eye-opening experience. And the craziest part about it is like I've sold a lot of this one item, and the rank doesn't drop. Like the keep chart just stays the same. So it like no one, I don't know if anyone will catch on to it or whatever. But it's been like super, super safe for stuff like that.
Do you limit your order quantity at all so people can't see how much you're selling?
I don't, but I mean, I guess I could do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, especially on those products, you don't want anyone else to find out about. Just tell your VA just to put an order limit of 5, 10 or something.
That's actually a good idea. I don't know. What about you guys?
What was the question? Forget. Oh, 2%, 2 to 3%. Right now, no. But so I've been working with Steve Rakin and his go-to lister account to like set up his profit analytics. And I've been looking at his products he's selling, and he's selling like a lot of slow moving products that have like Keepa graphs that drop every few days, just like that, like green lines consistently, which we generally don't really like to see as OA sellers. We want to see like, low, like just staying low, up and down. But he's getting one that's like every other day it's dropping. And he's moving like 40 to 50% of his inventory every month. So he's building a business on, I don't know if they're as high as 2 to 3%, but certainly like on SellerAmp, it's like 2 sales a month. And he's picking these items up. He's the only FBA offer. He's the lowest price. He's going to be the next sale. So just from looking at that, I'm just kind of reconsidering, hey, maybe it's a good idea to go after some of those items.
Yeah, that's why test buys are so important. That you never take what Keepa and SellerAmp says to heart. They're great software, but they're software. Like they make mistakes. Nothing's 100% accurate. So if you ever feel like, hey, like maybe this isn't exactly what it says it is, then try it out. Test buy it. If you do OA, I mean, worst case scenario, you could buy a couple units. Now, when you do wholesale, it's a little different story, but I don't know. I just like to test things. If I'm uncertain about it, roll the dice.
Have you read the book Thinking in Bets?
Mm-mm.
I've not. I've heard.
You probably don't need to, Michaela, but it's all about like everything you do, assess the risk reward ratio. And it was written by like a poker player or something, but like you definitely have that mindset. And sometimes I'm a little idiotic and I just like put it all in black.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of one of the, I guess I would say one more thing about this. It's like you want to make sure it's worth it. Like you don't want to be going on like 2 to 3% listings for like $1 or $2 or $3. Like a lot of this stuff I'm like testing, it's like $10 plus profit, like kind of stuff, because it's really not worth it. For me anyway, to do like $1 to $2, it just doesn't make sense.
That makes sense.
You have mentioned crap Keepa charts a couple of times. Can you explain further what you mean? So like for me anyway, you'll see like a lot of YouTube videos. Everyone will say like, oh, you want the Keepa to just be like super straight. You don't want to see like these huge like ups and downs, and you want the sales rank to kind of be straight. So basically I just kind of like throw all that out the window. I just want to make sure the buy box is rotating. If the buy box is rotating, I'm just doing a test buy and kind of seeing how it goes, because that's kind of all I really care about. I've even seen like the buy box kind of, I'm always looking at it at like 180 and sometimes even a year, because it makes total sense for someone to be dominating the buy box like 90% of the time if they're like the only person in stock because there's no one else there. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean, it could mean all sorts of stuff, but it's just, for me anyway, it's just not your traditional straight like kind of lines everywhere. It's just more messy. There's definitely some ups and downs. There's a lot for me where the prices are like really spiking up and down, and it's solely based on the seller count. So like I'm definitely testing things where it spiked up. Normally I'd pass on it, but the seller count went all the way down, and there's just like a history of people coming on and off that listing. So I've been testing those, and it's been working. I don't know. Are your VAs doing most of the sourcing for you, or?
I have a VA that builds a leads list, and I have him do some stuff occasionally for me. But right now, I'm just buying the same product. Like I don't really need to find anything else.
That's awesome. I guess that is one of the big benefits of wholesale.
Yeah,
being able to do that. Are you on? Are there like a lot of other people on the listing with you, or is it just kind of
Not a whole lot. Most of these like less than 15.
Okay. Wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
To go over that. So then, what does your day look like most of the time? Then
It's a great question. Yeah, like I try to focus on the one thing that will grow go-to lister.
okay.
So right now I'm working with Miles and Warner to get it in their program. And yeah, usually like it's just something about along the lines of that. I have been doing like obsessive compulsive checking of my Amazon listings, which probably isn't healthy, and I have not ever condoned this, but like I've just been checking the prices over and over again. But there's definitely a correlation between how much I check the prices, how much I adjust them, and what my sales are each day. Like it's the difference between like a $2,500 day and a $4,000 day is like, am I buy boxing? Do I need to drop my price? You know, and my repricer has actually been doing a lot of weird stuff lately. So I've actually been like taking a step back and removing the repricer from these listings and just manually updating them myself.
Oh wow.
I think it's because I'm selling like merchant fulfilled items and I'm not really used to like how to price those as much, you know?
Got it.
I never used the pricer for mine. I just did it manual.
Yeah. With books, it's like extremely necessary to have a repricer because you have like 10,000 ASINs or 10,000 SKUs. But with wholesale or OA, you can literally like have like 30 SKUs or less and have huge sales.
Yeah, that's good. So can you go more into that? Like, what are you looking at or what are you looking for?
Yeah. So generally, like I check like the 15 ASINs that are really important to me every day. And I see, did I sell any? And if I didn't, I ask myself why. And usually I have to drop the price, drop it below. Maybe I have to consider shipping it FBA. Maybe it just sells better FBA. If I'm going to have the repricer continue to touch it, then I make sure my min and max prices make sense. Sometimes my repricer goes to max price and I find out why. And then sometimes I lower the max price to put it like in a more realistic range. And then obviously, like based on all that information, I'm like, do I need to order more stock? Should I run PPC? Testing that out a little bit. And are there other ASINs selling the same product, maybe like in a bundle, or maybe just there's duplicate ASINs that I could hop on? Little things like that.
Cool. Where do you get a VA, and when do you know when you need one? You could go first, Avery.
Yeah, so I just tried hiring a VA. I did hire a VA, but I had to go through 3 to get one. I actually let go of my main VA, my main man. I had to because he was logging in late. I had a dream that I like talked to him over in the Philippines, like we were by a river or something. And I had a dream that I was like talking with them heart to heart. And I was like, look, man, I love you, but this isn't good for my business. And then a week later, I let him go. And so when you're hiring a new VA, you want to make sure they're good for the job. So just go ahead and give them the job initially. And what I mean by that is just give them a task that is the job you're going to have them do. And so if you're going to have them do customer service, take a screen share of your inbox and say, hey, here are all the questions that need to be answered. And then give them your SOP for managing the inbox and have them answer them. You'll get a real good feel if they're good or not for that position. So that's what I was hiring for, was customer service. And I had 3 great candidates. And the first candidate lost her phone the first day of the job. And so I just let her go. I'm like, look, I'm disorganized. I lose shit all the time, but I can't have a personal assistant, customer service rep losing shit. I'm sorry. So she was gone. The second one quit because she was a nurse. And it's kind of stupid of me to hire a nurse, but I was like, nurses are like really good people. They're smart. And so maybe they'll be a good customer service rep. She wasn't used to working night shifts. So lesson learned, don't hire someone who's like working different time zones. It's really hard to get somebody to work night shifts if they're not used to it. The third one, actually, I went through 4. The third one was like amazing, sold me on everything. I talked to him on a video call and he just seemed like the best VA ever. I'm like, wow, like this is about to be awesome. Hired him, never heard from him again. So I don't know if the pay was too low or what. And then the fourth one, this girl, she just had like a really good speaking voice. Rona is her name. She's a customer service rep for GoToLister and restricted inventory. And she just picked it up so fast and she's been great. So fingers crossed that she sticks around. But with all of them, I made them do some sort of task for customer service. And you just got to hire them and see, you know, are they doing the job right? And if they're not, just let them go. Like the moment that guy left me on red for an hour, I knew it was done. And so like, if they're not being communicative when it comes to that kind of stuff, just let them go. Now, when it comes to a sourcing VA, which probably most of the people here are interested in, put them on a sourcing task. Have them find at least one good product that you'll actually purchase. And if they can find one good product as a test, then they'll probably be able to find more. But if they can't even find one good as a test, you're going to have a really hard time trying to force them to be a good, you know, assistant. And make sure they enjoy the job. Like, don't hire a customer service person for a sourcing position. People who like to source, like we all like to source. It's fun. It's fun to use Seller Amp. And like VAs enjoy it too. Give them good bonuses, give them good incentives, make it a fun game for them, and find someone who's pretty damn good at the job. There's probably people out there that are almost as good as you, if not better, but you just have to find them. Like your life can be way different if you have a really good sourcing VA than if you have a really shitty VA. If you have a really shitty one, then you have to look through shitty leads all day. It's like having your own private shitty leads list. But if you have a really good VA, then like all of a sudden, boom, like the money that you're spending is going to come back to you, you know, 10x versus spending it on crappy leads. So that's my advice there. Onlinejobs.ph. That's where I hire all my VAs.
Yeah, that's great advice. And have you felt it getting harder to find good VAs?
Well, I mean, if you would ask me that a couple weeks ago, I'd be like, dude, I can't find one. But there's so many out there that will apply. Yeah. So add barriers. Like never post a job on any of these platforms. You can use Upwork as well, but never post a job and then check your inbox on onlinejobs.ph or Upwork. At least take them to your email, or I do all my communication on WhatsApp. So have them message you there. And if they don't even message you there and they just send you a message in the inbox, like they're going to be a shitty VA because they didn't even follow instructions. So yes and no, like there's so much demand out there for work. Like people really want to work. Just be patient and be willing to, you know, hire and fire a few people over the course of a month before you really find your good match.
Yeah, I've definitely learned that because when I first did it like a year or two ago, it was like much easier. Now I feel like they're a little bit more demanding about like what they want, and I guess they know they're like in demand. But yeah, I definitely agree with you 100%. Like,
yeah, I think that's why that third guy left me. I think he knew his worth and he didn't want to work because the job was paying $500 a month, which isn't bad, but it's kind of like a starting salary. And I think he just knew he could get, you know, higher pay.
Yeah, I had like 2 or 3, and it was more just like I think I hired 3. 2 were just like they're just aggravating. Like every like step of the way, it was just aggravating, and I was like, "This is supposed to be like Hormozy actually like always says it's like an employee should like take stuff off your plate, like not like stress you out, or like it should be totally stress free." And the one I have now is pretty much like that, like very easy going, and
yeah,
to really come into play here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had my run-in with VAs. But I think I'm good now. I got 3 VAs. I've had them since October, maybe. So
how many VAs do you have, Avery?
So I got my customer service. I got my right-hand man. I'm like a baby. Like I just need someone there for me all the time. And so I need like a personal assistant. Like I need he's getting a rental car for me right now. He does all my flight stuff. He checks in for me. I literally won't be able to live without a VA. And even if I like got a regular job, I would still have a VA just to do like all the stuff in my life that I don't want to do. So I got my right-hand man, and then I got a numbers girl. She's basically full time. Like she makes sure the wholesale operations profitable. Go to lister. She just runs all those numbers. Dom's not a VA. He's my American partner on Go-To Lister, so won't count him. We got a pretty lean team right now. I also got my VA that sources for me, so he builds the leads list, and I think that's it.
Do you sell a leads list, or no? It's just for you.
It's part of like I have like a high ticket program that I talk about every once in a while, and as part of that, you get access to it. So.
What repricer does everyone like? I use Go Aura. I've used pretty much all of them except for Seller Snap, and that's just the easiest one for me to set up and use and manage. So, and I like their support staff a lot.
Yeah. I use Channel Max. Great things to say about their support as well. It's a powerful repricer. Doesn't do everything I want it to do, but it does a lot. They're willing to develop as well. Like when I send them requests, they're like, we can make that work, because I'm sending them a ton of customers right now. But we are looking for somebody to integrate with, so either Channel Max or Be Cool with Go-To Lister. So we'll see how that goes. I'm talking to both of them. I really like the Be Cool guys, and I want somebody to be at Miami Sellers Conference like there. I'm not opposed to Go Aura, but we'll see what happens. Let them duke it out.
You should definitely reach out. Dylan's like really.
I've heard good things.
He's really nice. Yeah, he's been on the channel once or twice, I think.
Nice. That's the problem. Is like all these people are nice, So it's just like choosing like what's a good fit. Scott Needham is doing a review of all repricers pretty soon. And he's got like it's no strings attached. So I'm interested to see what he says about Be Cool versus Channel Max versus whatever. Everyone in like the wholesale space who's like not really connected with us, like our community of people, they all know about Channel Max. But like I feel like in our space, it's like Be Cool, Go Aura, and like these. It's interesting how like they infiltrate their way into like different communities.
Yeah, I never heard of Channel Max before. Like you were using it.
Yeah.
Where I think it was when Scott talked about it at Miami.
Correct. Yeah.
Damn, if Scott uses it, like
Scott doesn't even use it.
Never heard of it.
He talked about his strategy, which I think he uses a custom repricer, like his own repricer. But he says if I had to use one, it would probably be Channel Max. He used them in the past.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I used Be Cool for the longest time, and then I tried Seller Snap. I did the 15-day free trial, and it was okay. I just feel like they were kind of pushy with it. It's just like, leave me alone. Like, let me figure out if I like it or not before you keep emailing me. And then, like, I stopped using it because I didn't know for certain if I wanted to use it.
Were they being pushy because you're like an influencer?
I don't know, but I was like, please stop calling me. Please stop emailing me. Like, let me just decide on my own if I want to use your $500 or not. So, like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. So I was just like,
yeah, I get it.
Or Be Cool. They're just like, here you go.
Yeah.
No strings attached whatsoever. Like they don't feel like they have to like hard sell you.
Yeah. There's definitely an art to the sale.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is with like Go Aura. It's like they just leave you alone, and then if you have a question, like you submit it, and then I think their response time is like 7 minutes or something like that. That's their average response.
Channel Max is fast too. I'll say that. Channel Max has a live support in the bottom, and you can just message them and live instantly.
That's how they have it. And they actually have it like where they have these articles pop up. Like that's usually annoying, but they do it so well that it actually is helpful. Like some of the articles, I was like, oh, that's my problem. Like now I feel stupid like typing this.
See, I'm the type of person that just like ignore the articles. I'm like live agent 000. Like connect me now.
That's hilarious.
I want to try it.
Yeah, I would highly suggest it. I'm new to Amazon, sold 4 units in 24 hours with FBM. One is returning no longer needed. Another returning from wrong item sent. Item SKU is same as Amazon. Worry about metrics. How should I handle that? Yeah, it's kind of brutal. Brutal start. I don't know. I'd make sure it's the same item for 2 people to kind of return it. I would almost assume the person who said no longer needed probably figured out it was wrong. I know a lot of people say to start with merchant fulfilled, but this could be like a huge liability, especially if you're new with like OA, or a lot of times like the product looks the same. Like I get caught with this sometimes, or my VA did it a couple times today, where like the listing look is like for this, but like in the description it says like 2 of those, or like something very tricky that's like easy to miss. I would probably just give them their money back and just be like, keep it, to like kind of keep it like, so you don't get any negative feedback. And then maybe, I don't know, hopefully the other 2 go well, but maybe just be more careful.
Some people just don't put the right return reason as well. Like I've had people say that it was the wrong item, and it was very clearly the right item. I'd sold like hundreds of them. It was just like, a couple people were like, wrong item, and I was like, no, it wasn't. You bought the wrong item. I don't know. That's one of the bad parts about FBM, because it's hard to get that review off of there if they do leave one. I would just double confirm that it's the correct product, and then, I mean, people are going to return stuff no matter what, and it doesn't matter if you do FBM or FBA.
You said are you doing a lot of FBM, Avery?
Yep. Yeah.
Do you have a prep center doing it for you?
Yep. Yeah, you can get prep centers to do it. I got a private prep center doing it. I call it a private prep center. It's like my friend. He's got a business and he preps for me.
Nice.
And then I do have I got my online arbitrage prep center too. Sales tax free state. They're pretty good.
Sweet. Yeah, I know it took you a little bit to like find an actual good one.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, right. Avery with the fire. What was the website you said for the VA?
Onlinejobs.ph. $70 a month. We just pay it because here's a pro tip: share it with somebody else.
Ooh,
Steve and I share a lot of softwares together and a lot of services. So, I mean, we hire enough that we just pay it all the time, like $70 a month. But you can pay it one time, hire VA, and then stop paying it. But you will get an infinite amount of applications if you put a job out there.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, and definitely putting those barriers in are definitely a bit. I did exactly what Avery was saying, being like, yeah, like submit a profitable lead. I think 2 of them were just like, yeah, we don't do that because like people just use them or steal them. I was like, all right,
yeah,
great.
I will say this: if you're hiring a virtual assistant for sourcing products on Amazon, be weary. Like, have street smarts. If they're too good at selling themselves to you, they could be like an actually really good VA, but they're malicious, and they could be connected with they could have other bosses. They could be giving you leads and them leads. And so make sure you're not being played by a VA. I've never had it happen, but if they just have way too much experience and they're not like a ethical person, then what they can do is like they work for someone with a leads list. Maybe they still have access to it. Maybe they're building you a leads list. Maybe they're just building you private leads, but they have access and all these incentives to where, oh, this boss will pay me X amount if I get him a good lead. And so will you. And like, so then they start sharing leads with, each other. So if they're just like way too good and savvy and know too much about leads lists, that's almost a red flag for me, because they know the incentives that we give them. And if our incentives are good leads, then they could just be making bank sharing all the good leads with everyone.
Yeah, also be really weary. I've definitely got some people, they send you like a Google Doc of like all these leads that they're like, oh, here's my sample project work. And you're like, yeah, those are gonna be my leads soon.
Yep, exactly.
Screw that.
Oh my god.
John looking slim. Oh, thank you. It's got Milton, gang. Sweet.
We got Milton, Puerto Rico in the house.
Oh yeah, Milton comes to all these, which is awesome. Yeah. What else we got here? How would you describe to people exactly what you do? What's the official title besides dude that flips Stanley Cups on Amazon? For me, I usually just say like, oh, I sell on Amazon, and just basically tell them what I do. Like, I buy stuff at Target and Walmart that sells for more on Amazon, and that's kind of like all I say.
Yeah, I usually say I sell books on Amazon and help people sell on Amazon. Or if I'm selling some weird product, I'll just say that.
Yeah, I just say I have an Amazon store. They proceed to ask me a million questions, and then they ask me if they can get help to do
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty crazy the demand for people wanting help to sell on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely insane, and it's just to just see. Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you do that?" Or I think a lot of people like once you quit your job or you do this full time, or they just start to see like I don't know whatever you're doing, and they're like, "Wow, like I can't believe." Like I think a lot of people thought like, "Oh yeah, whatever. It's just one of those things that's like that's gonna go away." But I don't know. I've been doing this for like 4 years now, 5 years.
So I'll never forget whenever I went to my appointment to get my leg fixed for like the second time, and my surgeon was like, "If you're not going to medical school, what are you going to do?" And I told him, I said, "I'm going to run my Amazon store." And then I had the surgery, and I came back for like my 3-month appointment, and he was like, "How's your little Amazon store?" And I told him, and he's like, "Oh," he said, "Don't worry about going back to medical school then." I was like, "Yep."
How was your little Amazon store?
And then his nurse practitioner was like, "Hey, I want to work for you."
That's funny.
That's my favorite thing is seeing people's reactions to like, because people will probably think like, oh, you run like a little Amazon, like Etsy, or like you're just doing like a little side hustle, and then like people are making millions of dollars doing this, and like people have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michaela, do you still do OA?
Nope, I haven't purchased OA since the second week of December, I believe.
Are you gonna do Black Friday this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Black Friday and back to school.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pumped for back to school. Did you guys get safety claims on the backpacks?
I don't have any listed.
Yeah,
So.
I did actually. Now you say that.
Were you able to beat them?
I didn't try yet.
I tried to like once and they rejected it, so I don't know what to do. Lost my spot here. This guy in my Discord bought out Amazon Stanleys for 30, like 1,000 units, and resold them back on the same listing for 55. Crazy.
Hustle right there.
Yeah,
I guess you could return them. Worst case.
True. I want to start doing some more Amazon because that's just like a solid place to buy stuff if you could really like master the A to A flip.
Yeah. Jameson does a lot of that.
Yeah. When you fill out in wholesale application, what type of business do you put? Retail business? I've never filled one out. I have no idea.
I'm not sure what I put. What do you like? Probably just retail or e-commerce or.
I'll put e-commerce. Some people lie about it. I just don't care at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like if you want to sell it to me, fine. If you don't, you don't. So then I'll just get somebody else.
Agreed.
Some people are like, well, just put like distribution, or I'm like, no, they're gonna ask you if you sell on Amazon, and then if you lie, then you're gonna get in trouble with them. So I might as well just be honest. Be like, yeah, so I do e-commerce.
It also just feels extremely shitty to like be running a shady business. No pun intended for Andrew Shady, but it just doesn't feel good. Or I mean, like if you feel okay doing it, that's on you. But it just feels weird to just be, hiding everything you're doing.
Yeah, I feel like you probably don't want to get in a situation too if you really do like or start buying a lot from them and then they find out that like you are or they don't want to do business with you because you're like lying, then like that's just gonna lead to bad things.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got flips for Miles in the house with the W. Officially made it Zuck in a Seller Amp shirt.
Got the Zuck cut.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Some doctors make a killing though. Yeah.
When I got my haircut, I was kind of pissed. Like I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's even worse than before. I look just like Zuck. the better looking Mark Zuckerberg though.
I don't know. It says some doctors make a killing though with less work compared to selling on Amazon. I feel like I don't know about that.
Do not agree with that whatsoever.
I would to be a doctor though. Would you have to pay like $100,000?
I was going to be $250,000 in debt. I was going to be working without a wage for at least 4 more years, and then once you go to residency, you make $15 an hour. And that's what it calculates out to be because you're working, 60-hour weeks. The maximum's 80. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I mean, maybe if you're doing like I want to do sports medicine, so that was kind of like a cushier job, but you weren't making like $500K. You're making maybe $250. And then surgeons work crazy hours.
Yeah,
they do make good money, but ask them how their work-life balance is. Not great. Especially being a woman.
Avery, that's a fancy Airbnb you're staying in. Sales must be slow.
Hey, this is a fancy Airbnb. Look at this baby.
Tesla.
I'd probably get a Tesla once I stack that cash. I'm not gonna allow myself until I have a lot saved up, but I like Teslas. Teslas are growing on me.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, obviously, I probably want like a Range Rover or something like that. But then, for me, it's like I just don't drive that much. So it's like, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, didn't brand my business with the last name. That's funny.
Shady distribution.
My sister's boyfriend is an endologist that makes $2,500 to $5,000 a day doing root canals. He's in school for 10 years, currently $500K in debt. Damn, crazy.
I know people with way more than that, like $750,000 because they.
Well, if he's making that much a day, he'll be out in like half a year. So if he pays all of his debt off and doesn't do anything else.
But those people are notorious for bad finances. They'll be like,
Really?
"Oh, this doctor has a Ferrari. I should go get a Ferrari too. Or I should live in $1 million mansion." Yeah.
Kind of like Amazon sellers.
Read some of the data. Yeah, it's crazy. I was looking at it. There's a bunch of books out and stuff about.
I see people in the space buying like really nice cars, and like I kind of know how much they're making, and I'm like, I think that's a bit premature of you. You know?
Okay, call me out, Avery.
You said what?
Call me out, Avery.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen your bank account. Send me a screenshot after this.
Okay, I've got 130,000 there right now.
And how much is your car worth?
My car is worth. I paid $47 for it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're about 50, over a little 35% of your. But it's an asset, you know.
A business expense. Yeah, that's why I bought it.
Yeah, tax write-off.
I wrote off some of it last year.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, you do come across some people's storefronts, and you're like,
yeah, no.
How much they make? You're like, I don't know how you're doing that, or if that's a good idea. Do you still have your car, Avery?
Yep, still rocking Toyota.
Corolla.
Yep.
Sweet. There are no more questions. We've been going for an hour. Any parting words for the group?
Go out there, grind, do what you want, make money.
Make that money.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, thanks for being here, Avery. Really appreciate it. There is a link below for GoToLister. Avery's socials is down there.
Yeah, if you guys want half off, remember use Side Hustle Experiment or FBA Michaela. Just message us at support@gotolister.com. After you sign up, we'll give you half off first month.
Cool. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week, and peace out, guys.
Appreciate you.